Hello, this is Kaylee, and this is Kaylee's Household. I am coming to you. I am most importantly back in my natural self, rocking the side pony. In my natural element, okay? I was just gardening, soaking in some sun. Now, why do I wear a side pony? I'll tell you if you. I'm glad you asked. So, a lot of people with curly hair will wear like the piña, the one that, the ponytail, the unicorn that's like on top. Now that is good to preserve, that's good to preserve curls, right? But, like, when you are doing stuff in the house constantly, you need to see. Okay, so I don't want my hair in my face. I'm doing stuff, so I don't need it, I need it out the way. But I still want it to be like kind of in the front, because a lot of times if you put it in the back, girls know, or people with long hair, you all know, it makes your neck sweat. So it makes me uncomfortable. So maybe this is my thing. Maybe I'll make the side pony a thing again. Make it great again. So what am I talking about today? Today I am talking about the problem of shared food. I googled some like common household issues, right? Now there are common maintenance issues, and then there's common like roommate like people issues, right? I like to think that I specialize in both or that I'm working to master both of these things, because I do know that they are intertwined in the operations of the home. Now, talk about that I see in the forums a lot between roommates and stuff like that, shared food. Now, because we're sharing living space doesn't mean we're sharing everything, right? We can understand that as adults, clearly. I actually have a memo that I drafted up. Of course I drafted, of course I did, because I'm an organized and orderly individual. I have drafted this up for you to help you in your household. Now this is up to y'all, of course. So let's start off with rice, grains, and bulk. This item, and like baking supplies, this item is a great shared food item in a household, because number one, it takes up a lot of space, so you don't want more than one of these things. Number two, it's just wasteful, and it also, I think that sharing some things has somewhat of a camaraderie feel to it. Like eating the same thing as someone else, it helps you feel closer to them, if that makes sense. And so I think that this rice, grains, and bulk items like nuts or things that you buy in bulk, these can be shared for the reasons that I've stated. Okay, next shared food item is tea or coffee. Obviously, this is what they call in the hospitality industry complimentary, right? This is a very complimentary hosting thing to have in a household, and this is why I think it should be shared. You're a tea person, hello. You are very particular about what kinds of teas you buy or drink or whatever, but it's fairly inexpensive to share, because it's not something that's consistently being consumed. It can be tea and coffee. It's like complimentary. It's a very hosting. It's very welcoming to be like, yeah, have some of my tea, have some of my coffee. Like, I just. And it's bare minimum too. If you really think about it, it's like the bare minimum. Like when you stay at a hotel, what do they provide for you? In the kitchenette, which I love I love me a kitchenette, okay? Love me a kitchenette. We'll talk about kitchenettes. They provide expired tea and expired coffee. Now, maybe it's not expired, okay? Maybe you guys have traveled more well than I have. That's fine. If you're rich, just say that. What I'm saying is that it's a complimentary item for where you are staying. It should be offered to guests, and therefore anything that's offered to a guest should be shared. Okay. Next shared food item we have is spices. Spices, you don't want to be redundant. Again, it's kind of like tea and coffee. You don't want to have two of them if you don't need two of them. And they take up so little space, but when you have so many of them, it's just they expire, yearly or whatever. But my point is that you don't need two garlic powders. You don't need two salt, things like that. Spices should be shared. And however you guys want to rotate that out with who pays for what, I just wanted to say, along with spices, the same premise of why this should be shared in a household. Condiments. Why do we have, 2 bottles of ketchup or 2 bottles of mustard or things that take up space for no reason and that they're only occasionally used, inexpensive to share. So condiments. Room temperature condiments such as syrup. Talk to me we can fight in the comments because syrup should be in the pantry and not in the refrigerator. If it's in your refrigerator, I respect you, but I'm gonna microwave the situation if I use your syrup. I'm gonna microwave it either way because I like warm syrup. So if you like warm syrup, drop me a heart in the comments. Brown heart. Nonetheless, syrup, ketchup, mustard, mayo, those types of things, condiments should also be shared. Now I have an other category of food that can be shared in a household. Other would consist of candy, candy bowls, seasonal items, one-off things, just other, things that you want to share and you're just like, yeah, just leave it on the counter, like try that or try this, or, hey, I went over here and they gave me free mints or whatever, right? So it's usually candy or some type of seasonal item. Fruit that specifically goes in a fruit bowl. So fruit that can be on a counter, not fruit that goes in the refrigerator. And why I say those and not these is because of quantity and cost per quantity, if that makes sense. So oranges, apples, bananas, right? Those types of things that you would put in a fruit bowl, even vegetable, even like tomatoes. I know they're not vegetables, they're fruits. Onions, potatoes, garlic, things that sit on the counter. They are shared in the way that they are presented. So the way that they are presented in the home is it's here. So if it's ever on the counter, just know that everybody's looking at it and they got their eye on it. And since everybody's looking at it, it's presented to everybody, it should be shared. It's rude to be like, okay, those bananas are just for me. Or as tempted as I have been to think or say that in the past, pre-saved, it's just not reasonable. So yeah, fruits that goes in fruit bowls, room temperature. Another great item to note that they can be, I'm not saying they should be, but they can be and are a great candidate to be shared food within a household. Of course, if you communicate and agree on any other items to share, such as snacks, such as soda, right? There's a lot of things that you can buy in bulk as roommates or family members that you can share. I'm not saying that this is like limited to just these items. I just think that this is a good foundation for knowing what makes sense to share versus what doesn't. And it's just a great starting point that I wanted to talk about because it causes, it just can cause conflict. Just make sure that you are communicating what you are willing to share and what you are not what you're not willing to share. And it is fine. And I also think that these things can be updated consistently. Like any boundary, I do think that you can change it, you can update it, but when you change it, when you update it, you have to also change and update the fact, that you need to communicate that to other people. They can't read your mind. And I also think this is fair for family members also, as we live in growing times of shared living. Even if you still live with your parents, you still live with your sisters or brothers and things like that, as you grow into your adulthood, I don't think that we should necessarily be like, well, all is fair in the kitchen. I definitely believe in healthy boundaries in the kitchen. I think this is where boundaries start and learning about boundaries start. And so if it's a free fall in the kitchen, it's definitely gonna spill over into the rest of the household and also spill over into the I would like to argue the psychological development for children and just maturation in general for a young adulthood. So yeah, that's what I have to say about shared food. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. And thank you for being you. And peace be with you in your home and to your family and to every home that you enter. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.